I've never really been a fan of modern danners, mostly because of the overly pigmented coated leathers they like to use. But after waxing a suede pair with Venetian Leather Balm, I kinda surprised myself. So here we are, introducing what might be the world's first black wax flesh danner mountain boot. If you've ever seen any of my other wax flesh videos, then you probably already know how this will go. But this time I want to use the opportunity to dial in the process even further. The goal with these Danner mountain boots is to get the smoothest wax finish possible. But before we start waxing, I should probably explain why I'm even working on a suede pair of mountain boots instead of the more common smooth out versions. Honestly, it comes down to the leather choice. The vintage pair of precursor Danner mountains you see off to the left hand side of the screen have patinaed beautifully over time. But those are from the 1980s, before I was even born, back when they were actually using quality leather too. The modern Mountain series uses a pigmented top coat that scratches off with very little wear. The moment the outer layer comes off, you're stuck with a flat, light colored base. It has no grain, it won't take a polish, can't be color corrected close enough to match the fake exterior. There's no real way to develop a patina from that. So instead, I'm starting with suede and building the finish myself, which means I can have a pair of Danner mountain boots I can finally enjoy. Anyway, refocusing. First step is to stuff the boot with paper or a boot tree if you've got one, just to give it some structure. Then we brush the suede. Normally I might reach for a suede or brass bristle brush, but I don't really trust Danner's leather quality enough to go that aggressive, especially since we can't actually see the backing thanks to the Gore-Tex and quote-unquote leather lining. I'm playing it safe and using a regular horsehair brush, and if you're touching this yourself, you might have thought the same thing. Typically, this is the part where I start taping off certain areas before applying Venetian Leather Balm. But in this case, the boot is basically a one-piece hole-cut upper. The only panel break is the heel stay. Honestly, I'm not going to even bother taping it off. Not because I'm lazy, but because for whatever reason, masking tape or even packing tape won't stick to this upper or even the outsole. Once we have it brushed out, you'll see the nap raised. And since the goal is to get the smoothest, flattest wax finish possible, I'm going to do something you've probably never been told to do. I'm going to use Big 4 leather conditioner on the suede. The leather on these is pretty dry, and since it's about to get sealed under a layer of wax, conditioning it first doesn't hurt. In fact, you'll probably be surprised how much of the suede's original color comes back once the Big 4 is absorbed. Another tweak to the process is paying attention to how the nap naturally lays flat, and then brushing only in that direction. After a few seconds of testing, I realized front to back work best for this pair. So while the leather is still damp, I'm brushing only from the front to the back, lifting my hand between strokes instead of dragging it the other way. With the Big 4, the one direction brushing, and a decent amount of pressure, the nap is already smoothing out, exactly what I was hoping for. I'm going to let it dry for about 30 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step. The leather has absorbed everything it can at this point. After seeing the result, I don't think the Big 4 is nearly as damaging to suede as people might make it out to be. If I spent a few minutes brushing these out after drying, I could probably bring the color back and raise the nap almost completely, without resorting to a $35 sapphire spray for conditioning. Time to apply the black Venetian Leather Balm. Gloves on. I'm working with the balm front to back to keep the nap laid down as much as possible. No need to worry about the D-rings or speed hooks. A quick wipe with a paper towel will remove any excess since it doesn't bond to metal. If you're curious where I got these boots from, I bought them from Japan for about $103 after that exchange rate. I believe that's fairly affordable compared to buying it in the United States of America, and also it's relatively affordable when comparing it to just the new cost for any of these mountain boots. They're actually incredibly expensive, sometimes, over $400 for a pair. I don't know why, but it is. But I understand though. What we have to give Danner credit for is they have a very classic hiking silhouette. They've introduced that kind of Swiss look, Italian look into the American hiking zeitgeist. Not necessarily a bad thing when you think about the heritage boot world. But we could only have wished that they would have maintained higher quality materials. Even on the inside of the boot, it doesn't feel all that special. It feels cheap, right? Like when you're standing in the boot and your foot is on that footbed, it feels like nothing special at all. Just like flat. It feels worse than a sneaker. It feels worse than wearing a Nike running shoe. That would be 1/4 of the price. Don't forget the stitch down area as well. I was happy to see the stitching take color because I didn't want any of the stark white thread showing through. I'm not bothering to fully coat the inside of the tongue since most of that will never be visible. Once everything is covered, leave the boots to dry for about an hour. You want the surface to be completely dry, not tacky at all, before the next step, or you'll ruin the smooth finish. Now we can start brushing. It's already looking pretty good, but I can still see some larger brown spots on the upper, so a second coat of balm will be needed. When you're brushing, remember, only brush in the direction the nap is laying down. Be gentle. Just glide the brush across the surface. It doesn't take a long time to bring out a nice shine. Sometimes it's just mere seconds. So as cool as it's looking now, we're going to go ahead and apply that light second coat of Venetian Leather Balm. Then we'll basically be finished. For your own suede boots, 2 applications is probably right. But if you're working with rough out leather, you might need 3 or more. As I was waiting for the danners to dry, I was looking at them from about 10 feet away, and they started to grow on me. This is even after many months ago, I actually owned a pair of black Danner mountain boots, and they, like, as you can imagine, they got scratched up on the toe, and they looked horrific. And even though they were black, and it's really hard to mess up black, the finish doesn't look like these. They looked fake. They looked so inauthentic, not genuine. It really looked like leather paint. But whereas these, there's something organic about it. It just feels very natural. Maybe because, if you've owned black wax flesh boots before, you're very familiar with seeing that kind of light, pebbly sheen. Yeah, they're growing on me. After it's dry, I'll give the boot another quick brushing and then lace it up with a fresh pair of leather laces. And that's it. We're done. I'm very happy with how even and flat the finish turned out this time around. And as I tightened the laces, the sharp edges dug into the wax a little, which already gives a small preview of how this do-it-yourself wax finish will start to patina. The nice part is I can always touch it up in the future with more leather balm if you want to maintain that finish. This whole video was a test run for a project I've got coming up in a few months, where I'll be trying to replicate a bespoke and rare finishing on a highly desired pair of boots. So stay tuned for that, and if you enjoyed the video, subscribing would be a huge help. Thanks so much for watching.